Hops with Hey Luke is live on location this week. We're at City Built Brewing here in Grand Rapids. It's also an ArtPrize venue here, and we are finishing up ArtPrize. But joining me, Edwin Collazo. Edwin, thank you for taking some time to do this, our inaugural live episode of Hops with Hey Luke. How are you?
Absolutely. Great. Thank you. Thanks for coming. We appreciate you guys and spend time with us.
And thanks for having us. Let's dive right in here. So our first beer that we're talking about today is the Into the Haze. Tell me a little bit about this one.
Into the Haze is part of a series called the Crown Series. That was kind of an idea that sprung from a song that I was listening to during COVID that Run the Jewels sings. It's called The Crown. And so that was kind of the thought behind the Crown Series cans, which we have two here, but there were four. But Into the Haze is a double dry hopped IPA. I think the description says cornucopia.
What does that mean?
So a ton of different hop flavors come through. There's a ton of hops in it. Double dry hopped just means that we dropped hops at two different places in the fermentation process. So
the Crown Series, we actually have another one of the Crown Series that we'll hit in a second here, but is that a relatively new series? Because you said you were listening during COVID, so...
Yep, so we did it I think they dropped a year ago, so in August of 2020, and so this is the second time we've made them. And so the difference is the first time we made them, it had the legendary Pistol and Fist on it, which...
Oh, the Run the Jewels.
It got us into a little bit of trouble, and so now we just traded out some design work where those hands once were.
Why the Mummy?
We decided to take the hands that we saw on the label, and I asked the artist to come up with a face that they thought would match the hands.
Nice.
And so that was all I thought I was getting was the face. But when the hand showed up, we had cans and brights, and I was like, well, we got to go. So,
nice.
Yeah.
All right, so beer number two, here we have the Hooligans, another one with just incredible artwork on it. Tell me about the Fifth Street Hooligans.
Sure. Fifth Street Hooligans is, again, another double dry hopped IPA. It's a 6.5% beer. It has Calista, Sabro, Citra, Hydra hops in it. Super peachy. We use a dippy yeast in it, which probably no one cares about, but it gives it this peach flavor. It's super soft and is one of our flagships.
Tell me about that yeast. I'm curious.
It's a dippy yeast is a yeast that when you're making double IPAs, it tends to be one of the house yeasts for a lot of local breweries.
Nice.
And so it's one of the only beers we use it in, but our brewer loves that character that we get from that yeast versus like London 3.
And Fifth Street Hooligans, that name, where's that one come from?
So again, a lot of our beers the ideas came during 2020. And so that beer started out as a test beer as, in my mind, it was like a Hooligans, like Green Street Hooligans.
Gotcha.
And so, and then we watch football or soccer. And so during COVID, we thought we'd bring attention to the Fifth Street Hall, which I'm a member of. And so they also refer to themselves as Fifth Street Hooligans.
Nice.
And so we decided to name it Fifth Street Hooligans instead of Green Street Hooligans.
Gotcha. So a couple here, influenced by, I guess, the pandemic, for lack of a better word.
Yeah. We made a lot of changes last year to our beer program, and so a lot of these particular beers happen to just come back around, where this one we're brewing every month.
Gotcha. So lastly here, another one with some incredible art on it, the Childless Obsession.
Yeah.
Tell me about this one.
Childless Obsession is a fruited sour with gummy bears and lactose. It tastes like a push pop. It's sweet and tart, probably more so tart than it is sour. It's a great beer. It's a nice summertime beer. Same thing. Kind of ran off the same, the Crown Series and had hands. And so in this particular set of hands or label art, had a completely different set of hands than the other ones. The other ones kind of look like monsters, and this just looked different. And so the art is completely different from the first. And so, and then this particular can was done by Kyle DeGroff, where this one was done with by Elliot Chaltry, and they are our main artists that we work for all of our can art.
Incredible artists too, because this can art is pretty cool.
Absolutely, they do a great job, and they're busy, and so we're finding other artists to work with, which is a lot of fun, and so it gives us a little bit of diversity in our can art.
That last one there kind of tastes of nostalgia too, because you think about those push pops.
Yes.
Thinking childhood.
Oh yeah, 100%. That was our goal.
Yeah.
That was our goal. Yeah, and there really was a ton of gummies in it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Tell me about the process of that, then getting that flavor while brewing that.
A ton of fruit, a ton of concentrate, and then all of that goes into the secondary. So we wait till fermentation's pretty much done, and then we start to add fruit and gummy bears and things that give it the flavor that we're looking for. So we're basically, instead of using hops, we're using fruit and gummy bears to dry hop it.
Nice.
Or to dry flavor it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Let's 180 a little bit. Let's dive into ArtPrize.
Sure.
City Built Brewing is a venue. I believe you have 6 artists.
We do have 6 artists
featured this year. How do you get involved in that, and how did you get in touch with all those artists?
We were. This is the first year that we've been involved with ArtPrize. I'm glad. I've always kind of shied away from it because it's a busy time and we're a busy place. But it's been fun to have people come through and look at our space and get to be in our space for the first time. So that's been good. But there's a process where they attach artists to venues, and we can kind of, I don't know if shop is the right term, but get to know somebody and get to know their art and get a feel for what they're doing. And so some of the artists we were familiar with and knew, while others were new relationships, and we've met them through the process of being part of ArtPrize.
Since this was your first year, what kind of put you over the edge? Was like, I want to get involved in this. I want to have some of these artists featured in my brewery.
I think once we decided we were going to do it, we decided to go big, and that tends to be our mantra: is if we're going to do it, let's go all the way. And so part of the process, ArtPrize director came in and asked us if we would partner with SkyMint, which is a Michigan cannabis company. And so we decided to redo our tent, and so our whole tent became an ArtPrize venue in itself. And so we got to meet Sheefy McFly through that, and so, which was really cool. And it all kind of came down to ArtPrize opening with our last Friday Night Live event, and so it was really cool to have all those people here, both for art and music.
Nice. Do you plan on continuing with ArtPrize?
Yeah, I think so. It was a great experience. I think we would do it again.
Nice.
Especially the outdoor stuff. It's been cool to see people outside and in the park across the street.
Nice. Ed, appreciate
Thank you.
it, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thanks for doing this with us. Folks, our ArtPrize special airs at 7 o'clock tomorrow here as we do wrap up ArtPrize. That's on Wood TV. We'll also have it streaming from woodtv.com.